Assalamu alaikum, thanks for joining us. How are you doing today?
Walaikum salam. I'm good, thank you, man. Alhamdulillah.
How's Ramadan been going?
Yeah, it's been going good, man. Alhamdulillah, man. Obviously, it's different this year, but it's all a blessing, man. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, where? Tell us a bit about yourself. Where are you at the moment?
I'm based in Leicester. Living with the missus and the little one. Yeah, man. I was born in Zanzibar, Tanzania, but grew up in Leicester, man.
What's it like? Oh, okay. Obviously, I know you grew up in Leicester. What age did you come to the UK?
Came here when I was how old was I? Maybe like 2. I came young.
2 years old.
2 years old, man. Yeah.
Do you visit Tanzania often?
Well, the last few years, yeah, because obviously with international duty, I've been going quite a lot. Obviously went the summer. I went just before Jan. Yeah, I've been going quite a lot. But before that, we used to go on family holidays all the time. Yeah.
And tell us a bit about yourself, like as in 2-year-old Adi in the UK, growing up in Leicester. Where did your involvement in football come from? As in, I've got a few Tanzanian friends, etc., and the ones I know of, they're not really football crazy, so to speak. Amazing people, but where did your football kind of love come from?
Obviously, I grew up in a council estate called St Matthews in Leicester. If you don't know if you know about it, I think it got voted like the poorest council estate in like the Midlands. So I grew up there. I started playing when I was about 10 years old. There used to be like a youth centre where you pay 50p every Saturday. We used to go there and play, and that's the first team I played for, St Matthews.
I love that you mentioned the youth centre. I'll tell you why, because I'm currently in my full-time capacity in my employment role. I work for a charity in Coventry, and we do work with young people. How important was it growing up having access to that youth centre, to go there and chill out, play football, etc.? How important was it for you?
That was really important, man. Just like, obviously, like growing up in an area like that, it was just somewhere where you can go where you know 100% you're safe. You know what I mean? We didn't just play football there. Obviously, as you know, youth centres, we pool, table tennis. So we used to go there after school, but the Saturdays where we paid 50p to play was just specifically football. Yeah, man, it was good experience.
Were you naturally gifted growing up as a child, or was it something that you were coached when you're going to the youth centre or playing for St Matthews?
I won't say gifted. Alhamdulillah, I worked hard, man. My dad used to play football. My dad was a professional footballer in Tanzania, and he played in Qatar professionally as well, and I'm sure he played in Dubai as well. So I've come from a football background.
What's the earliest memory you have of playing kind of with a football growing up? What's the earliest memory you remember?
The earliest memory, it's got to be when I was in playing. I remember getting signed. Well, it's not even signed. It's just they would just pick a few players to play for their Sunday league team when I was like under 10s. That's when it all started in St Matthews. Yeah, man, just kids basically just from the block. Yeah, literally just played on a Sunday. Dad used to come. My dad, till this day, my dad's never ever missed a game.
MashaAllah, that's amazing, man. Do you think it's important having that family support? I mean, I've done a couple of interviews over the last year with Copper 90 and a few others, and I know it's slightly off topic, but it was around Asians in football. And 10 years ago, the excuse and the argument.
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, I was saying, I was asking in regards to the importance of family support, parental support, playing football.
Yeah.
How important that is. As in, you just mentioned that your dad hasn't missed a game that you play.
Yeah, no, literally every single game. Even if he could come to training, he would come to training as well. He would miss work, imagine, to come watch me training. Yeah, alhamdulillah, he's been good, and obviously because he used to play for himself, and obviously back then he never knew I was going to be professional. He just came just to support me and obviously be there for me. So yeah, my dad's been good to me, man. Alhamdulillah.
So you're a parent now. You mentioned earlier on. I don't know if you was on air or off air, but you mentioned you're a parent. What
Yeah.
what advice would you give to other parents that are maybe watching now on the live on Facebook about supporting their children in sports, not just necessarily football, but in sport in general?
I would say it's massive, man, because like just my morals. You know what I mean? Um, I'm very lucky. Like my mum and dad have been together all my life, nearly 30 years. Um, so like just day to day morals, man. There's certain things I just wouldn't do. You know what I mean? Just because I was raised. You know what I mean? I've seen my mum treat my dad, seen my dad treat my mum. So obviously, growing up, that's how you'd want to treat your wife, and that's how you'd want to treat. You know what I mean? So the way my dad treated me, I'd want to the same way. Obviously, I would like to think my dad raised me well. So and the way he did that was by being there. You know what I mean? Just being there is a massive, massive thing to anyone. So he never let us like this little stuff like this. He would never ever let us stay at anyone's house overnight. If anyone wants, if you want to sleep over, you have to come
To
to
yours?
ours. You know what I mean? You have to come to ours. Yeah, just little stuff like that. I think obviously back then I was like, oh, what? Why can't I sleep around? This guy's out, or you know what I mean. But obviously now you realize, like, if I obviously my little daughter, I would never even think of her sleep even around her best friend's house. I wouldn't, because you know what I mean. You just never know. Just little stuff like morals like that, and obviously as you grow older, my dad always used to say to me like, you wouldn't know until you get older and you realize when you have your own kids. I know that's very very cliche, but it's so true, man. So
And
alhamdulillah, man, I'm lucky.
and would you say that kind of advice in terms of sport? Would you say parents? I don't have children or anything, but would you say parents should encourage their children to participate in sporting activity? I only asked that question because um, when I was growing up, it was around becoming a doctor, lawyer, solicitor, studying Islam, etc., which is all great and amazing.
Um, to be fair, with football, my dad obviously because he was a professional footballer, he kind of like pushed me towards the football. Like naturally, obviously, there was always a football in the house, but at the same time, it was something. So it's like he knew if I was to leave the house, I was going to play football. You know what I mean? So he knew I was going to play football. Like so, it was more of maybe when I was younger, it was more of a distraction. Just he's going to play football at the park, or he's going to St Matthew's Sports or to go play football. So he knows I'm in a safe area. I'm at the youth club. Um, I'd say just whatever, because you got to enjoy it. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people. Obviously, when you get older, it might be different for some people. I can only speak for myself. But when you get older, you might not like football, but you're doing it to look after your family. Because I know quite a few people that don't actually like football, but they
Mm.
play because it's their income, and I understand that as well. You don't have to love football. Obviously, at that age when you're younger, with my parents, I think it was more for just to distract us away from any bad things or doing any bad. You know what I mean? So, and my dad was the role model because he played football and joined in, and you could see he was good. So like you could kind of respect. You know what I mean? Whatever he's saying, you can respect it because obviously he's good himself. So yeah, it was good, man. Alhamdulillah.
So our show is all about role models. You just mentioned obviously your dad being a role model. Now, unfortunately, there are young people that the society that we live in now. Not everyone has the parents or parents together. Some parents have passed away and moved on, etc. So our whole entire show is about role models, and that's why I want to say thank you for coming on because we see you as a role model. I'm pretty sure a lot of young people, whether they're Tanzanian, whether they're UK, British born, etc., wherever they come from, they would see you as a professional athlete, as a role model. How important do you think it is for role models to be accessible? Well, positive role models anyway, to be accessible to the masses, to the young people.
I think it's massive. Like till this day, um, like it's that's why because before I never really used to have Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. I just didn't feel the need to. But like someone, and then I thought I don't see myself as because obviously I still myself as a kid off the block. So why would anyone want to know my life? So that's the reason why I didn't want to, or well, I just didn't have Twitter or Instagram like that. But and then that's one of the main reasons why I'll post on Instagram, because I still to this day follow people, and then when I see their post, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do that, or you know what I mean. So like when people post, it's simple stuff like they're in the mosque praying,
Yeah.
and you sat there thinking, oh, I've not prayed Dhuhr today, or I ain't
Yeah.
prayed Maghrib today. You see that and thinking,
Yeah.
he's doing it, let me go do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you're on a Sunday after a game, ideally you should be recovering, doing what you need to do, stretching. Sometimes you know what I mean, you're feeling lazy, but and then when you see someone's story and you see, oh, he's doing it, or he's going stretching, why can't I? So I'll literally get up from because I seen that, I get up and go do it. So I think it's massive, because till this day because obviously a lot of people put down social media, but it depends how you use it. I see things on there and it makes me want to do it. You know what I mean? Like I said, yeah, till this day, honestly, like I'll look on Instagram, I'll see someone praying, or I'll see someone training. It'll make me want to train. It'll make me want to pray. So I use it as a positive. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stick on social media, and I fully understand it, because
Can I like, if I'm allowed, can I offer just a bit of advice to you as well? Like, just in the sense of, I know you mentioned that you just see yourself as a kid off the block, and you're doing what you're doing, and you mentioned the positivities, but I just want to mention, like, alhamdulillah, like, you know, players like yourself and others that have come on the show, you have an amazing reach of that could be used, and you are using for positivity. So please, like, never think of yourself, obviously remain humble, and that's what Islam teaches, etc. But you guys are in a very you know, powerful position, alhamdulillah, to an extent, to, you know, whatever you can do. So that's just my little piece of advice. Never think that
no,
you're
you
just a
know
kid
what?
from the
A
block.
lot of people, because obviously, like a lot of people have said that to me, and like in my head, you know what I mean? Alhamdulillah, I've played in the AFCON. I've played, obviously, like when I got signed, obviously Blackpool in League One. So like I still just see, like I don't like, but I cannot. I now, obviously growing older, obviously I'm older, and I know one little, like a simple post of me praying, or a simple
Yeah.
post of me training could influence and help.
Yeah.
Same way it's still influencing me now. You know what I mean? Like I was saying to Sam Morsey, like I seen him pray. It
Yeah.
made me get up and pray.
Yeah.
I seen him go Jumma in the mosque. Instead of praying at home, it made me want to go pray. I'm thinking, you know, he's doing it. Why he's doing it? He's in the same. You know what I mean? Why can't I go? So
And he's getting rewarded for that as well, by the way. And he's getting
yeah,
rewarded for the fact that you're praying.
100%. And that I've come to realize, to use social media for the positive. So I always try and be positive. I always say, if I can make it, anyone can make it. Trust me, because I've been through it. Like I've been clubless, jobless, not been paid, injured for nearly 4 or 5 years. Like literally on a injury bed for 4 or 5 years, and then been released by like 6, 7 teams. No one would want to take me on trial. You know what I mean? So like I believe, and if I can make it personally, anyone can, with just a bit of hard work. Obviously, I'm Muslim, so like, I believe in Allah. The prayers 100% work. You know what I mean?
Alhamdulillah.
The prayers are massive, and you've got to pray. Not just one thing I realized as well. Like before, obviously growing up, you're praying because your mom and dad told you to pray.
Yeah.
You're just praying 5 times a day. Just go and get it done quick. You know what I mean? But when you actually pray and believe Allah is going to help you,
Yeah.
it comes true, man. And the hard work, of course. You can't just be praying. You know what I mean? Like my dad always says, you can't want to be a professional tennis player, but you're playing football. You know what I mean? So you've got to work.
Yeah.
Allah gives you. You got to work at your trade. So yeah, man. I believe a lot. Yeah, man.
I seen this picture this Ramadan. Someone put it on Twitter. It just blew my mind away, saying, I'm not sure if I remember correctly the quote, but it was like, "Don't take prayer as a chore, but take it as a direct line of communication with Allah. If you have it with that intention, that you're actually speaking to God,
Allah. Yeah,
then
and
it's a different vibe."
I've seen miracles literally happen, and actually, I want to say this story. I remember I got released from Lincoln. I was at Lincoln City for a whole year. Didn't play one game. Before Lincoln, I was at Burton Albion, injury prone. Played like maybe 20 games in 2 years, and before that, I was at Leicester, injured for 2 years. So altogether, I was like injured for like 4 or 5 years, and I was known as the injury prone player. And when I got released from Lincoln, they were in the Conference Prem at the time. I got released from them. I didn't play one game. I was injured the whole year. And when I got released from them, like wallahi, bro, I rang up 1,000, obviously being exaggerating, about 50 clubs. All of them said there's not even a trial. Imagine, not even a trial. And got like, obviously it's about these times. Obviously, you get like end of the season around these times. Had no one would even take me on trial, not even think about it. And then obviously the pay stops in June, so I didn't get paid in June. Didn't get paid in July. I was literally at home thinking I literally don't know what to do. Obviously, I did I did my scholarship at Leicester, so all I had was a BTEC.
Yeah.
Had no other trades. Had nothing. I was even thinking about going back to work, but then my dad was like, just don't worry, just believe in Allah. But everyone I rang was saying, nah, you're injury prone. Even if you come on trial, do you think you're injured? Like you've been injured for nearly, you've been injured more than you played. You've got no history, nothing. So I was just training on my own, believing and praying. So I remember one night, this is true story. I think it was like 2 nights in a row. Woke up in the middle of the night. I was just generally just praying. I was like, please God, just show me, give me something. You know what I mean? So imagine the next morning, a friend goes up to me, why don't you sign up to LinkedIn? So I've gone, well, I didn't know what it was at the time. This is like, 6, 7 years ago. I didn't know what LinkedIn was.
Yeah.
So I've gone, well, I ain't got nothing to lose. So I thought, let me sign up to LinkedIn. Signed up. I just put free agent, looking for a club, trials. So anyway, next day, someone messaged me, a guy called Milan. He's literally the one that saved my life. Literally, obviously Allah, from the prayers, Allah brought him. So Milan, imagine, came on trial when I was at Leicester for 2-3 days. So it wasn't even like someone I knew. He just came on trial, stayed at the digs for 2-3 days. He didn't get signed.
Was he another player? Yeah, another player, Milan.
Yeah, his name's Milan. Yeah, came on trial. So he messaged me randomly, and he texted me saying, "Adi, you're a free agent. Like, what happened? You was at Leicester 2 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's happened?" I was like, injury. So I seen the message, imagine, and because I don't really know him, and he's just someone that came on trial. It's like a barber coming to cut someone's hair once, and then 5 years later, he goes, "Oh, I remember," you know what I mean? So I didn't really actually know him, so he just messaged me, and I was like, I don't even know him. Like, but I thought, you know what? Let me just reply to him. Obviously, so I messaged him. I've gone, obviously I'm not playing at the minute. I ain't got a club. Literally no one is gonna take me on trial. The only teams that will take me on trial, like Sunday, like I think it was like 5-6 teams, leagues below Conference North, and obviously I didn't want to drop that low. So he's texting me saying, "What? You ain't got a club?" And I've gone, "Nah, absolutely nothing." He's gone, "You know what? My dad is the keeper coach at Oxford City." And I've gone, "Oh, really?" He's gone, "Oh, yeah, this was a Thursday. This was during pre-season." So obviously pre-season started, I think it was like 2 weeks before season starts. Obviously I've been training on my own, literally at home, no income, nothing. And he's gone, my dad, my uncle or dad is a keeper coach at Oxford City, which is in the Conference North. And I've gone, "Oh, is it?" And he's gone, "Yeah, I can get you a trial on Saturday. They've got their last game of pre-season on Saturday." And then I've gone, "Yeah, 100%. I'll be there." He goes, "Yeah, let me ring him. I'll get back to you." He rang me on the Friday. He says, "Oh, can you get to?" I think it was like I played like a non-league team. Alhamdulillah, he's even lucky because I wasn't even match fit. But Oxford City played like a team who was 5 leagues below. Obviously, pre-season you play Sunday league teams, this and that. So I went on the Saturday, scored a hat trick. They signed me on that Monday, started that season, and then I scored 37.
Wow.
And then I got to move back into the league. That's how crazy it was. Literally from that, just from that. So that, and just from the prayers, you know what I mean? Like something just came randomly as that. I will never ever forget that. Literally from the generally, that was the first time where I generally prayed, and that's when I realized, like, wow, like Allah's there listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
100%. Even like, I totally get where you're coming from. Like, I've had so many similar experiences in life as well, and I'm sure others have as well. But my first kind of like, I would say, interaction or awareness of yourself was when you were at Solihull Moors. I don't know if you even remember this or see this. This was years ago. I was just like, when you were playing, I DM'd you because I said, "Yo, bro, do you want to come and play for our Sunday league team and stuff?" Not realizing the magnitude of Solihull and contracts and all of that. But how did that come down? Like, was that another challenge while playing for Solihull? Obviously, they're a massive club.
So what happened? How did I get to Solihull? So yeah, so obviously from the Oxford City, when I scored the 37, I got the move to Mansfield. I did all right. I finished like second top scorer. I scored like 9 goals in League Two, and then the manager got sacked, and then I went Crawley on loan towards the end of the season. I was gonna sign for Crawley, but and then I did all right, and then Grimsby signed me. I signed a 2-year at Grimsby's from Jan. So
was that under Marcus Bignett?
Marcus Bignett, yeah. So
Good
he
lad.
signed me. So Marcus Bignett signed me in Jan. He got the job in Jan, signed me in Jan. I did well till the end of the season. I think I scored like 5 games, but then he got sacked just before the end of the season. And a new manager came in, had other plans. And then I went to Barrow in the conference as well. I did well at Barrow, and then I signed for Solihull in Jan. They were like bottom of we did the Great Escape. I don't know if you can remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
The Great Escape, we was like 20 in Jan. We were like 20 points at rock bottom, 20 points away from survival.
Was that when Liam McDonald was there, and then?
No, he just left.
He just left. Yeah.
It was, what's his name? Mark. Wow, I forgot his name.
It was after Liam left.
Yeah, it's in down. Wow, this is bad. I can't remember his name. But yeah,
Mark Yates.
Pardon? Mark Yates. That's it. Mark Yates. Yeah, he signed me. Was that Yussuf?
That's Yussuf, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Yussuf. Mark Yates signed me. Signed me and like 4 or 5 other players. And we literally from 20 points stayed up. And then that year is when I did well. I scored like 25 goals. And then after that, that's when I got the move to Blackpool.
But and how was that? How was that? As in, like, how was that? How did that come about? The move itself. Obviously, I know it came about because of your goal scoring exploits, etc., and you were just tearing it up. It's on all over social media, etc.
To be fair, bro, like that was one of them, because normally at the age of I was 27. Yeah, I was 27, and normally you wouldn't expect a 27-year-old to get a move. Like I said, the same again with the prayers. Like, we obviously went on the FA Cup run. We played Blackpool at home, and then we got the replay, and we played Blackpool away.
You scored at home, didn't you? I remember you scored at home.
No, I scored away.
Away.
I scored 2 away, and the same again then. And then literally, I remember like the night before, I woke up in the middle of the night, prayed, spoke to Allah, and I said, please God, let me just score and let me do well. You know what I mean? And then I scored 2 that game, did well. I remember actually saying, like, after the game, the manager come up to me there, the Blackpool manager said, "Oh, what a player." And I've gone, "Oh, that don't mean anything in football." And then anyway, coming into the season, I remember my agent ringing me and saying, I've not been wanting to tell you, but since that Blackpool game, the manager's been on his case till the end. Obviously, he didn't want to, because obviously with football, a lot of people just talk and lie. So he didn't really want us to say anything. But like he said, since that Blackpool game away you played, the Blackpool manager's been on my phone to make sure I sign for Blackpool as soon as I finish with Solihull. But I never knew this. I found out after. So do you think
it's a good thing that you found out after, or?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, worked out all right. I don't know. To be fair, yeah, I guess it just kept the hunger.
Now, the reason I asked that is because I'm not going to mention the name of the player, but there's a player obviously quite known in the Premier League where there was some club sniffing around, and he was at a local club, just making his name, and suddenly he heard these clubs were after him, and his attitude changed and his mentality changed, and in the end, he didn't get moved to the club at all.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I guess it does. It does make it different. If someone's telling you, "Oh, you're going to get a move there," you're getting them not in a bad way. Maybe you start thinking, "Oh, let me not work as hard just in case I don't get injured, or let me hold back just in case I don't get injured." So I guess in that sense, yeah, but maybe obviously sort of, that's how I would have taken it, because obviously with my injury history, like I would have probably thought, oh, you know what, if Blackpool said they're gonna say,
Well, sorry, apologies about that. 1 second, Saeed, can you put everyone on mute, please?
He's been muted.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Adi, carry on.
I would have thought, obviously being in my position, or if I'm guaranteed a move end of the season, let me make sure I don't get injured, or maybe, and that would have probably affected my performances. You know what I mean? Subconsciously. So yeah, alhamdulillah. Obviously, even though it didn't really mean anything, I've heard people say, "I want to sign you tomorrow."
Yeah.
But tomorrow comes, you know what I mean? The phone's off. So
yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. So.
What would you say? I know it might sound like a silly question, but what would you say are the main differences in terms of football from Solihull Moors to the step up to Blackpool? Now, I know you went on loan to Bournemouth, etc., but what's the main? Not that this was the first time for you, because you played in the academies, you went Leicester, Burton, Mansfield, Grimsby, etc. What are the main differences?
I'd say the main difference is the mentality. So and Solihull was we had some good players, very, very good players, and the setup there was good. Everything was good. We had some good coaches, but I think just the mentality, every single day you come into training, everyone's on it. Yeah, just that's the difference. Everyone's just on it. Whereas Solihull, maybe because I can probably get away with playing I'm talking about in training, by the way.
Yeah.
In training, I could be like, oh, my back's a bit stiff, or my hamstring's a bit stiff. Let me hold back a bit, and probably still get away with it. But if I was to do that at Blackpool, I'll get found out easily. You know what I mean? So I'd probably just say the standard. Everyone's on it. Everyone wants to be the best. And I don't mean no one wants to be the best at Solihull, but I mean they take the extra yard of maybe after training, going onto recovery pumps, going in the ice bath, going to do whatever whatever they can do. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot easier at Blackpool because obviously the facilities are there. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just, I would say that's just the standard of everyone's sharper, everyone's stronger, everyone's cleverer.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's just smart. Yeah, so I'll probably just say that's the difference. And people are just more there to play football and want to be the best. Yeah. I'm guessing the higher you go, it's even the facilities even there. Obviously, Blackpool's in League One, but I'm guessing if you're in the Champ, the facilities are easier to be there, so people are doing more to become better. You know what I mean? So I'd say that's the difference. Obviously, if you're training like that every day, automatically on a Saturday you're gonna be better. You know what I mean? So yeah, alhamdulillah, man.
You represented Tanzania internationally. First of all, how did that come about? Does the federation just call you up and say, Yussuf, Adi, we want you, Abdullah, we want you to come and play for us? What's the process?
To be fair, you see with the social media thing, so with the positive things, when I say no, just be positive and post whatever. I remember 4 or 5 years ago, I think I was at Mansfield, and I started off my Twitter. So I literally just didn't have many followers, but I must have put in my bio Tanzanian, because no one, like I said, no one really knew me. I just signed for Mansfield. I was at Oxford City when I got my Instagram. I just put in my bio Tanzanian, and then I started just putting like wherever I put nationality Tanzanian or on my bio, Twitter bio Tanzanian, because no one really knew where I was from. Like there was no reason for me, the people to know. So like even like little stuff like when I anything I fill in, I put British Tanzanian or you know what I mean. So people Tanzania was out there. So I remember one time I scored at Mansfield, and the commentator said, "Oh, the Tanzanian scored again or something." So everyone heard, "Oh, Tanzanian," and obviously I posted that video on my social media, and then that's when it's Tanzanian. So a bit more Tanzanian followers started to follow me because obviously they heard that I was Tanzanian, and that's obviously out in England. Obviously I had the Tanzanian passport, and obviously more Tanzanians started following me, and then the journalists from Tanzania started getting in contact, saying, "Oh, you're Tanzanian? Are you actually Tanzanian? Where was you born?" I was like, "Oh, I was actually born in Tanzania." So that's how they knew. So then, when I did well for Solihull, so that's when I did well for Solihull, and I think it was what was it? I think it was like the World Cup qualifiers, and that's when I got called up for the first time. And the guy who I found all this out through journalists saying, "Oh, we only found out there was a Tanzanian through this video at Mansfield when you scored." He said, "Oh, Tanzanian no, not Tanzanian international because I wasn't international then."
Tanzania national.
You said, "Oh, Tanzanian scores again." So just from that, so like I said, that's another positive. Just getting it out there with the social media. So that social media did help. And
so who called you? Is it the federation that called you? Is it the manager that called you?
And the federation called me.
And they just say to you, "We want you to come over." Do you have to arrange your own flights and stuff, or do they sort that out for you? Or?
They did absolutely everything. All I had to do is get on the plane.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Literally, obviously, my dad's family are all here, like the brothers and sisters, but my mom's side, everyone's they're all there. So like, yeah, it was literally a dream come true, man.
How did you feel putting on the kit, stepping out on the pitch?
Because I made my debut. So when I went the first time, the game got called off. So I didn't make my debut. And then I got called up the second time. I didn't come on. And then a couple injuries came. I thought, I'm not going to get called up for the AFCON. But then I had a good year at Solihull, so they called me up to AFCON. And I made my debut. I played a friendly against Zimbabwe, and then I made my debut against Algeria.
Wow, like that's a big debut. That is.
It was unbelievable, man. Amazing, man. Amazing feeling.
How was it playing in the AFCON?
Yeah, wicked, man. Wicked.
What year was it that you played in the AFCON?
Last year.
So Sam wouldn't have been there. Nah, Sam never got selected last year.
Who?
Sam Morsey.
Oh, Sam Morsey. Yeah, nah, he didn't. I don't think he went. He must have been in. I think he was injured or something.
Yeah, he was injured.
He went the World Cup.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
How's your relationship? Like, I see that you both are quite good friends, etc. How did that come
about? I've known Morsey since we was like 18. Played against him when I was at Burton. He was at
Port Vale.
Do you know? This is funny how we met. You know, because we played against each other. It was definitely a red card. So he's literally smashed me middle of the pitch. Smashed me. So I've gone up. I've gone, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't know him. I don't literally. All I know is like that's his name was Morsey. I didn't know him. And then got into a little scuffle. I was like, you could have brought my leg there. And he's going, "Oh, shut up." This and that. Obviously, he was all young. He was like 18 then. Because he's literally the same age as me, same school year. So and then after the game, we've got well, I didn't even know we had a mutual friend. So I've got a Justin Richard. Do you know Justin Richard? He's from Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I messaged Justin Rich because I normally message him after every game saying how he went. He always messages me after every game, asking me, "Oh, how did your game go? How did you play? Like, did you have any chances?" So I messaged him, "Oh yeah, I did all right, blah blah." But there's this guy, man, just smashed me, almost broke my leg, man. And I've gone, and he was like, "Oh, who was it?" I was like, "Oh, Sam Morsey." And he just started laughing, with shock, and then he added us in the group chat. So we imagine after nearly fighting. Within an hour, space an hour, so we added each other in the group chat. Since then, obviously, then we just started. Yeah, it was like just cool since then. And then there was obviously cross paths through football, and then obviously when I signed for a team up north, and he lives up north, so yeah. And then obviously yeah.
Gotta give him a shout out, man. He's the one that plugged you in. Yeah, he's the one that plugged you in. Good lad, good guy. He's man, Sam.
Good guy, man. Mosley, good guy, man.
Moving on to Mbwana Samata, who's playing for Aston Villa. Obviously, we've got loads of Villa fans in here, etc. He became the first Tanzanian to play in the Premier League. Does he give you and other Tanzanian young people or players in general hope that they can make that transition from? Obviously, he came from the Austrian league, I believe. Belgium league, sorry, Belgium.
Yeah. Samata, man. That is he is the example of just hard work, literally. Because I remember the first time I got called up, we got cancelled. This was like 5 years ago. No one knew Samata. I didn't even know who he was. He was just playing in the Tanzanian leagues. Just obviously all I heard was, oh yeah, this Mbwana Samata is like he scored 30 goals for the last 2-3 seasons, doing well. And to be fair, he was the only one that spoke actually good English. So he was the one that, obviously, my Swahili's good, but not as good as the people that are living there. So he spoke fluent English. So he was the one that made me feel welcome there. So literally from that, obviously seeing there just Tanzanian league, and then I think he got the move to one of the biggest clubs in Africa. I think it was TP Mazembe. He went there, did his thing there, scored 30 again, and he got the move to Genk. And then within a space of 2-3 years from the Tanzanian league to the Prem, and then he scored in the Prem, scored at Wembley. It's unbelievable, man.
Because I support Liverpool and Liverpool Genk, and there's not many players that can do what he did to Van Dijk and them. Van Dijk is, in my opinion, the best defender in the world at the moment. But that was a struggle that game was.
Yeah, Samata's sharp, isn't he? Sharp. Obviously at AFCON, that's when I really got to know him, because we were together for 8 weeks every day in the hotel. He was literally next door to me, so it was literally together 24 hours a day, every day for 8 weeks. So that guy is the nicest guy, Muslim brother as well, on his deen. Nicest guy you'd ever meet.
It's good to see. It's good to see. There's a lot of positivity, and you may sound cliche, but I've mentioned it and asked all the guests that have come on the show. Unfortunately, Islam has been hijacked by certain individuals and groups, etc., that have been negatively, and the religion has negatively been portrayed in the media. But there's so many Muslim athletes now playing at the top tier, the top level of football, professional football, and their characters seem to shine all the time. Do you think it's important that they utilize their positions in some capacity to also promote Islam? Not that Islam needs to be promoted, but
I think obviously, like you said, there's certain individuals that portray Islam as the obvious. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of times people hold back in saying it just so they don't want to be judged, or they don't want to. You know what I mean? They'd rather just be Muslim in their own thingy, and a lot. Whereas I think if look at Mo Salah, every time he scores, he does the
sujood.
So more people see, he's Muslim, because some people might not even know.
Yeah.
So he sees, a lot of it.
I didn't even know about Samata was Muslim until you told me.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's not a Muslim name. What is a Muslim name? But I'm saying you wouldn't know he's Muslim. He's proper Aki. Prays 5 times a day on his deen. Proper religious. You know what I mean? So I think, and it's not one of them where he does it people don't want to promote. It's just there's no need. I'm Muslim. Everyone I know I'm Muslim. Allah knows I'm Muslim. But I think to help, maybe like you said, you don't really need to change the opinion of anyone. If someone's ignorant, ignorant. I think, man, I just try be positive about everything. I'll promote Islam. I'll promote working hard, training hard,
Yeah.
believing in dreams. I'll just promote anything that's positive. So
Exactly, and I think that's kind of key because, like I was saying, I don't think Islam needs to be promoted because Islam is a way of life anyway. So if you're working hard, if you're earning halal, if you're doing good, if you're doing charity, you're automatically kind of going through the principles of being a Muslim and talking about Islam in your characteristics.
exactly.
And that kind of leads me on to the question I want to ask you about the charity work that you do, because I think it was about 12 or 18 months ago I saw an article that you set up a foundation in Tanzania. Can you give us a bit of information about the foundation and how people can get involved in it and what it's about?
So I remember I went with my family about, I think it was, yeah, about 2 years ago. I went back with my family, and it was, obviously going back holiday back in the day when I was like younger. Obviously, I've been to Tanzania when I was like 14, 15, but obviously it's just thinking. But I went back as an adult 2, 3 years ago. I can't remember when. And alhamdulillah, obviously we've been living in England, so obviously our family back home are okay, are stable. But and then obviously when we was there, my dad took me to obviously the villages where he grew up or where my mom grew up and everyone, and I seen the poverty there. And honestly, I actually generally could not believe. You know when you see on TV these things, and then you actually see it for yourself. I generally didn't sleep that night. Like kids literally walking around, no mom, no dad, not a penny to their name, and they're just literally relying on someone to give them food, or someone, like, you know what I mean. So that touched me, man. So I said, obviously you're not going to change. You can't change the world. You can't change the whole of Tanzania. But I just thought to myself, that kid for so let's say a fiver could probably get him through a week. You know what I mean? Or guaranteed food. You know what I mean? Guaranteed this, guaranteed that. So when I got back, I just thought. So I was saying to my dad, like, I want to. It's like I said, it's not going to make a massive difference, but I want to help. As let's say 10, 15 kids, I can guarantee them food, a place to stay. You know what I mean? So yeah, when I got back, I started literally. I didn't even put it on I didn't put it on Instagram. I just thought I don't need to tell anyone I'm doing this. I'll just do it myself. Like I said, this is another thing. Like I didn't want to, because like I said, he says keep whatever you do, keep your charity. You know what I mean? You don't need to tell anyone. You don't need to boast. But at the same time, my dad was telling me, no, put on Instagram, because say you're putting X amount, promote it. Someone else might put X amount, and because of you, instead of helping 15 kids, you could be helping 30 kids.
It's true.
So instead, so it's not. You're not showing off that you're helping kids, which that's why that was one of the main reasons why I didn't want to put it on Instagram, or I didn't want to put a kid, because I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm helping kids. Oh, look at me. I didn't want that. And then obviously I've spoken to my dad, spoken to my mum. It's like, no, like end of the day, you want to help as many kids as possible. So you put X amount, someone else puts X amount, and then someone else sees that guy's put X amount. Let me chuck in an X amount, and then all of a sudden you're helping 50 kids because of you. And all them people helping you, you're getting the good deeds as well. So I thought, cool. And then ever since then, obviously, so basically I rented out like a little shack. Obviously, I just wanted to start somewhere, so I was renting out a little shack, and I was just sending money over. I just put a few beds there. There was water there. It was literally bare minimum, but obviously that bare minimum is better than what they had. So I thought, you know what, let me just start on here. So literally probably about 20 mattresses. So they're all sleeping. They are guaranteed. I know the sleeping in shelter. And I was just sorting out everything. And then obviously as the times come on, I posted it on my Instagram. My own friends was like, oh, listen here, is I don't know, X amount. Is after that, I want to help out. So then I was getting money from everyone. I was thinking, I can make this bigger now. So then I started buying them clothes.
Yeah.
So if you checked on my Instagram, I've got uniform, like Adi Yussuf Foundation uniforms. Obviously more people donated. And then I think it was last year, someone donated like £100,000 worth of clothes.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, so like I shipped that over. So obviously I was only looking after about 30 kids. So like that £100,000 donation of clothes, it's all on my Instagram. So like say you give me X amount, I'll make sure that X amount does this. So if you whatever you give me, I'll go show it on my Instagram page. So I'll post on Instagram the next page or whenever I can when I get the videos and that of the Tanzania. So yeah, he donated obviously there's £100,000. So literally went round that village I went to and just gave out the whole village, literally the £100,000 worth of clothes. So literally the whole village plus more got so I mean, so it was definitely a positive, you know what I mean? So
I've got a plug for you as well. There's an organization in Holland called Kids for the World. We'll talk about it offline and stuff.
yeah.
But they have partnerships with all the Eredivisie clubs, top tier, lower tier. And what they do is they collect all the football boots, football kits, balls, equipments, all of that. And what they do is then provide them to charities or organizations or people that need, sporting equipment. Some of the equipment is kind of wear and tear, but some of them are brilliant. Like we did it in Birmingham, so they're not restricted to just Africa and these countries. You can apply to get clothing and sportswear across the world. I'll put you in touch with them after this, inshallah, and we can I'm sure we can support it. But what you mentioned regarding what your mom and dad said, like get it out there, let people. I just want to remind you that there's a hadith about asking people to pray for you, because if a person or an individual prays for you, the angels then take that prayer to Allah and say, this is your servant who has prayed for this other individual. Allah grant this person's du'as, make it acceptable. The angels are obviously sinless, so their du'as are immediately accepted. It's a hadith in Bukhari, and that's quite unique as well, because through your work, especially now in Ramadan, I'm pretty sure it's continuing in Ramadan. It's continuing still, isn't it?
Yeah, like we've got a shipment, inshallah. I'm praying that because it takes like 2-3 months to get to Tanzania. Inshallah, the plan is to get it on Eid, just a day before Eid. So I've been literally trying my best to try and get it there before Eid, and at the minute it's on track. So the shipment that was sent 2 months ago, hopefully inshallah, man, the kids get it on Eid day, man. It's literally because I'll take down, so like every 2-3 months there's a container that goes. So like a month before the container goes, I'll collect everyone, I'll post on my Instagram, any donations I'll take in, put it into the container. So I did that 2-3 months ago, and it's landed 2-3 weeks ago. But it was landed in Zanzibar, and obviously the charities. So we need to. So it's hopefully inshallah gets there in time for Eid day. That was the plan, to get it on Eid.
Please send us a link to a page you may have or something that we can link into these videos and stuff when they go out on YouTube and things. Inshallah, we'll try to promote that as well. Inshallah. I've got so many questions to go through, but we're running out of time, so I'm gonna have to skip loads of questions. I'm sorry, my fault. I keep talking sometimes. I want to just ask you about COVID-19, the pandemic. What would you say have been kind of? I know there's not a lot of positives, but what positives can you take from the COVID-19 pandemic that's put us in lockdown?
Personally, I just think, like, obviously my little one was born on my birthday, February the 20th. So like, which is
same birthday as Dad.
Yeah. So I've spent time that I would never have spent. I spent 24 hours a day every day with my little one. So like, that's a positive, which that would never have happened if I was at football. Never. So alhamdulillah, God's blessed me with that. I think I've prayed more. I mean, I'm reading the Quran in English this time. I've read it obviously in Arabic, but I'm reading it in English, which I would never. The aim, you always have aims and goals, but like now there's no excuses because you're at home doing nothing. So like I started reading it in English. Yeah, for me, like obviously I've been training every day.
How's that been? Like obviously you're at Blackpool. We spoke to Yussuf last week, and he mentioned there's all this that they look at how much you're running and all of that kind of stuff. Is that pretty much same?
Yeah, it's pretty much same. Yeah, I've got a treadmill and bike, so like I just smash it out every day, man.
Have you spoken to the new manager, Neil Critchley?
Briefly, obviously, I wasn't there when they appointed him, so like, just see what happens in pre-season. It was just a brief chat. You said obviously we're in. Yeah.
Has it been? I think it's been officially called off now. League Two, is that right?
Yeah, League Two's been called off, but obviously Blackpool's in League One.
League One, yeah.
So I'm not sure. Apparently there's a meeting on Monday, so we'll find out on Monday.
And I don't know if you're even allowed to answer this, but I just want to ask you what your thoughts are on Project Restart. The Premier League, and that will obviously have an effect on Championship and League One as well.
What do you think of it starting?
Yeah, restarting.
It's one of them. Like it's one of them, innit, brother? Like, who knows what's the right thing to do but Allah? Like,
yeah,
it's obviously very, very serious because people are dying and losing their lives every day. But at the same time, it's going to be here for. I mean, obviously, I'm not a scientist, so I can't even answer that question because I ain't a scientist. Yeah. I can only give you my opinion. And yeah, because it's sad because you've seen people die every day, and then you think, like, but then at the same time, if you're taking the precautions and you're doing everything right, life's on because at the minute life's on standstill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Bundesliga started today. Did you watch any of the Bundesliga?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah. Erling
Haaland, man, he's a bad man.
It's weird without any fans.
Yeah, that's probably need to add some audio and stuff into it to make it sound a bit more.
Just what? Yeah.
So fan noise.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. But yeah, man, it's a tough one about Premiership. Like you don't know what the right answer is, do you?
No, you don't. But let's see what happens anyway. Obviously, it's not up to us or anything. We can all have our difference of opinions and stuff. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm not going to even comment. But just to close off, I was going to ask you a couple of more questions. Your all-time five-a-side team.
All-time five-a-side team.
Yeah.
In goal. It's got to be Buffon, isn't it?
He's the man. Still playing, man.
Or Oliver Kahn. Yeah, Buffon. I'm going to go Buffon. Centre back. Maldini. I'm going to have one at the back. And then centre mid. Zidane.
Two more.
I've got the striker. There's only one striker.
Who are you going to say?
Ronaldo, R9.
Yeah. I'm loving this. I spoke to Mohamed Sidibe yesterday and he said R9 as well. These young people don't know about R9.
Ever to live. Ever. The best. Centre mid.
You got Zidane. You got one more.
I'm going to have to say Messi.
You're going to put him in midfield?
Yeah, I've got to get him in, innit? I've got to get him in. Yeah, I'm going to put Messi, yeah. So
I'm assuming when we ask you the question about the Messi Ronaldo, you're going for the Messi?
I can't even answer that. Messi, I think, obviously, Messi is a football. Messi, talent-wise, yeah. He's the football person. But I think I'll always respect Ronaldo's hard work and dedication because that is the product of just hard work. Obviously, he's talented than most. But obviously, with that talent, the hard work, you know what I mean? Whereas I think Ronaldo is gifted, but I think Messi is naturally so much more gifted. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's what a lot of people I think are in agreement with. Both are. We can appreciate both of them because they're both amazing football players. One final question I wanted to ask you. Obviously, we can never predict the future, etc. Where in a perfect environment, where do you see yourself, or where do you wish to see yourself in say 12, 18 months time, inshallah?
12, 18 months time. Wallahi, as long as I'm healthy, family's healthy, and I'm fit, I believe anything's possible, man. And inshallah, as long as I'm playing somewhere, as long as I'm playing, my family's healthy, everyone's healthy, I'm playing every week in, week out, fit, I'll be happy, man.
Awesome answer. Really good answer. Adi, Jazakallah, thank you for coming on. I'm gonna pass it on to Saeed if that's okay with you to open up to some of the people participating because they have some questions.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
No worries. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Robbie. First, we've got someone well known to us, Yussuf Cisse.
Can you hold on 1 minute? Let me just close this door again.
Yeah, no worries.
Just wait for him to come back, Yussuf, and you can ask him your question.
Inshallah.
I think
Yussuf,
Adi just wanted to show that his kit has been framed, but
Yussuf, while we're waiting for Adi to come back, well, tell us about your friendship. Tell us about your friendship with Adi, because obviously you're both playing for Blackpool. What's your friendship?
He's a good guy, man. MashaAllah, he's a very good guy, man. Always like, inshallah, mashallah, praying. So I like him. He's a good guy, man.
Has he helped you with you know?
Yeah. He gave me like a lot of advices because he had the bad times as well, and you know he always tried to help me, like, you know.
Yussuf, I was going to ask Adi this, but I'll ask you, who's better, you or your Adi?
Me always.
Okay, I'll ask Adi when he's back.
He's back now. You can ask him the question. Go on, Yussuf.
Assalamu alaikum, uncle.
Yes, Yussuf. Assalamu alaikum.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
How's family? Everything good, yeah?
Alhamdulillah.
My question is like, you know, you had like up and downs in football, injuries, you had the bad times. So what make you like you always want to be like up? You always want to be up. You know, sometimes you have bad times, yeah, you have to go down. And sometimes some people, they want to stop football or they don't care about football, but your mentality is always that you want to be up. So what make you to
be fair, first, like, there's quite a few answers to that, because number one is I don't want to get to 40 years old and have the regret of, imagine I just worked harder, or imagine I did this, or imagine if I didn't give up. That would eat me up every day. And second one is like poor as you can probably get. You know what I mean? Council estate, living in a 2-bedroom house with 5-6 people living in there. So anything is better. So even though I was in a bad situation, it was better than what I was in before. So I'll always, that mentality of just, and I generally deep down, I knew everything was going to be okay, because there's no way Allah is going to leave me like this. I genuinely believe that. There was no way, absolutely no way Allah was ever going to leave me in a situation where I couldn't get out. You know what I mean? And I knew with hard work, I was going to get there. Don't get me wrong, there's times where it was hard, but obviously I had good people around me, dad, good friends, very good friends. That helped me, man. And
Thank you, Yussuf. Saeed, can I just quickly butt in before you go to the next one?
Yeah.
I have a good friend, so I trust his comment. He's made it on Facebook, and he's asked something, Adi, in Swahili, so forgive me if I got the pronunciation wrong, but I know it's not going to be anything dodgy because he's a good guy. He says, Mambo, Vipi, Kaka, ?
He basically just said, hi, what's up? What's going on?
Okay.
Kaka means we just said, Mambo Vipi just means like, what's going on, brother?
Okay, cool. Thanks, Saeed.
Next, we've got Kasim. Can I ask you a question? Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Adi. You okay, brother?
Brother, what's going on?
Good. I just got like two real quick questions. First of all, for a striker or a winger, what tips do you have? Like goal scoring tips do you have? Like I've heard lots of people say aim for the bottom because if you miss it, you'll go into the bar. For you personally, what are your kind of tips for scoring goals? And the other question is, for someone transitioning from non-league to say League One professional football, what would you say is important for you to like get trials? That is it knowing the right people, having an agent? What's the important thing of that? That's my two questions.
I'm guessing you're a striker, yeah?
Winger slash striker, yeah.
Me personally, if you're a forward in any position, and if you like, obviously go on YouTube or check on my Instagram. I don't think I've ever scored. Maybe I've scored 2 outside the box. So
Yeah.
I've got actually literally got my top, no goals, no sleep. I don't know if you know about it, but it's called no goals sleep. I genuinely believe like goals. Like if you're a striker or forward, you have to. I say this to Yussuf every day. I said just everything else will cover the cracks. The goals is the most important thing as a striker. Like, me going into a game, I just believe I'm going to score like 100%. And like if it was a tip, I would say obviously anyone who shoots, like if anyone shoots any crosses, just be attracted to the keeper. So like for me personally, whenever someone, like most of my goals, literally someone shoots, hits the keeper, pounces, tapping, or a cross, everyone's sleeping, I'm always alert. When I'm in the box, I'm always on my toes. Yeah, most of my goals have been literally from 3-4 yards away. Obviously, it depends what kind of striker you are. Obviously, it could be different to you, but I believe in any forward position, and I think that's why Messi and Ronaldo and all these greats, even though they're very, very talented, I think it's all about numbers. So
Yeah.
Me personally, that. And what second questions had about getting the move? For me, bro, wallahi, bro, like I just work, just like I said, hard work and belief, man, and just it's literally, this is cliche, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
As simple as that, man. Like just look. I got lucky.
Anyone you know, just send them my way, and just I'll give my Instagram with that later. We'll talk behind closed doors. Just send them over to me.
Yeah, message me on Instagram, man. Sometimes, literally, like I said when I was telling you about the story, like someone I didn't even know helped me out. I could give you a number. Oh yeah, bang, you're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I respect that. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kasim.
I'll look out for your name.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll message you, Adi. Very quickly from me, I had 2 questions. First one is obviously being a footballer is a very short career. Do you have any plans after your football career ends? Is it to open more foundations and things like that?
Yeah, at the minute, I'm into like properties. So I rent out properties. I'll do like Airbnbs. Trying to do Airbnbs at the minute, obviously with this COVID.
Bit difficult.
It's a bit difficult, yeah. So hopefully that. So I've got a business doing that. I'm trying to. I do coaching. Before all this happened as well, I was coaching at Leicester, the under 12s, and it's like I was saying to Kasim, it's literally who you know, because my matey that used to play at I played with when I was at Leicester. He's the manager at he's the under 12s manager at Leicester. So I was getting my badges. He said, "Oh, why don't you come in, do your coach, like get some experience here?" So I was coaching at Leicester. So yeah. So I want to get the property thing. Obviously, that's what I want to do, and obviously that's hopefully inshallah that'll be my passive income. But after football, obviously I want to be around football, help with charities. Obviously, try and build the Adi Yussuf Foundation as big as possible. Inshallah.
And the one last question was, I just asked Yussuf this myself actually. Who's better, you or Yussuf?
Yeah, Yussuf. Different players, man.
His answer was him. He never hesitated one bit.
I think in my head I know who's better, but I think we're different players. Different players, man. He's quick, skillful. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm just in the box, scoring tapping. So it depends what you like. It's like Messi and Ronaldo, isn't it? Depends what you like. But Yusuf's a good player, man. Wicked.
Excellent.
Adi, thank you very much for joining us. We've got an online workout with the guys. We've got a chat. Basically, we do a challenge every Saturday, and at the end of the month, inshallah, next week's the last one. We got like top 3 places, and we're handing out some Nike football boots vouchers. So I don't want to delay our PT. Thank you very much once again for coming on. Do you have any final words before we let you go?
No, it's all good, man. I appreciate it, and I love what you're doing, man. Keep it up. Inshallah, it gets bigger, help more people. And if there's anything I can do, man, inshallah, I'm here to help. inshallah.
Thanks, bro. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, all love, bro.